I had just signed with the Cubs in '07. So I was playing. He got called up in '07. And you hear whispers. I remember like Walt Weiss telling me about Nolan Arenado's coming through the minor leagues. When you start hearing players, like veteran players, whisper about a guy coming up from the minors, there's something there.
Right.
And all the Reds players were talking about, there's a first baseman coming up.
Yeah.
I remember with Jay Bruce when he first showed up. It's like, we got a first baseman coming up that just absolutely mashes, right? And he came up in '07 for a little bit. And then '08, he hit the streets running in Cincinnati. Against the Cubbies one day in '08, he hit 3 homers against us. I remember just running around the bases, oppo, oppo, oppo. And I just said, I was like, sitting there last night, I think he's a Hall of Famer for a variety of reasons. I think he checks a lot of boxes, not just numbers-wise, but what he means to the game, how he approached the game, the different generations, kind of him tinkering, him teaching, everything, all-encompassing. So I wanted to take you on a journey for Joey Votto. If he's getting in a car and he's driving to Cooperstown, there's a couple exits along the way. The first one we're gonna stop at is MVP Street, all right? Because like Billy said, right, in 2010,
he went VW bug?
He went absolutely bonkers in 2010 and won the MVP. 324, 37, 113 RBIs, an OPS north of 1,020. Played D, carried the team, and there he is winning his first MVP. He'd finished 3rd in 2015. He'd finished 2nd in 2017. So those are a few of the reasons. Now let's get off. Savant drive. This man was a hitting savant. And he did an interview in 2019 down in spring training with John Smoltz talking about crossing over different generations and how he was attacking hitting in the modern game as opposed to when he first came up. Take a listen to this.
The thing that stood out to me during that, what felt like that generation of pitching, was command at both sides of the plate. Let's see if we can expand the plate. And for me as a hitter, I had to learn how to drive the ball the other way, be able to take what was given to me. Whereas now, combating the athleticism of these guys, the high velocity, high spin rate, strong breaking balls. Strikeouts are really very common now. So I've had to make the adjustment to combat the extreme speed of the game, whereas before it was more touchy-feely, more technical. So that's probably the largest change, especially to my hitting game. And it's showed itself through where I was younger, I stood up a little taller, took more risks. Now, a little more spread out, choked up. I'm a little more conservative with my approach at times.
Wow. The great ones are a little different, right? Constant game of adjustment, and no one did it better than Joey Votto, taking you on this ride. Bold Type Ave is the next exit. Christopher Mad Dog Russo says, I want to see black ink next to your name in Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
Well, Joey Votto's got that. 7-time on-base percentage champ across the entire game. 4 times he led the entire MLB in walks. He's won a Gold Glove. He's been dominant for the Reds for an extended period of time. So it's littered with bold type, okay? And like Billy was saying, he doesn't get enough love for his defense. Certainly handled the bag, so keep it going. We're riding to Cooperstown. Where are we getting off next?
He's not looking at the road.
No.
Okay, I think it might be Character Road. And you know what this is about.
I like this.
I mean, did anybody, Lauren,
Everything that matters.
look at him mess
This
with
is
the
so
fans.
good.
Wrigley, he's throwing that ball out of the stadium. No one gets a foul ball on his watch. Look at him. He's in a visiting park and having fun.
I like
and the
it.
fans eating it up, hitting the gritty, being a Mountie. Let's throw to some sound with Mad Dog Russo.
This one.
This is so good.
A couple of months ago, you said that Zach Greinke and I are a hall of very good ball players. I think Zach and I would agree. You may be right. I know what you're doing. You're looking down on us. Mr. New York City, your tailored suits and your polished shoes and your hair, your perfectly coiffed Broadway hair. Not everyone can be the next Roger Peckinpah, Mad Dog. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're a disgrace.
The
Alana
best,
looks
the best.
hilarious.
And the
That's
numbers don't lie. I mean, when you really break it down, he's on par with the Todd Heltons who just walked into the Hall of Fame, the Orlando Cepedas, rest in peace, another Hall of Famer. So, I mean, you look at it, 17 MLB seasons, all with the Reds, 356 bombs, 1144 on the ribbies, and you compare him and Todd Helton, I mean, pretty much the same.
I think what you talked about, the adjustments, and Bill, the fact that he could adjust at a later stage in his career and have success.
And one last exit. One of the things that absolutely hit me to my core was in 2022 when the Reds did the Field of Dreams. And they mic'd him up for sound.
Oh,
Got
yes.
some vintage Orlando Cepeda here. Get me back on the road. And he talked about his relationship with his father and what it meant to be playing at Cooperstown. And this is why he's a Hall of Famer. Listen to this.
I used to play catch with my father from 8, 9 years old, and it was a daily thing. He wanted me to be a pitcher like John Smoltz, and we threw every day. He'd catch me. We'd share that moment together, and he passed away about 14 years ago. And here I am at the Field of Dreams, longing for a catch with my father, but still basking in this with a smile, knowing that if he was here, he would have loved it, and we would have shared it together. So it's very much a full circle moment for me.
You kidding me?
Yeah, it's good.
He's going to take his dad into Cooperstown with him.
Yeah.
So he kind of, for me, it's the numbers matchup, but it's bigger. Like, he was a bigger presence in our sport, his love of the game, his appreciation of having to be a little different and change the way he attacked the game. He was just an offensive savant.
Yeah.
And when he came back and the Reds were good and he was towards the later part of his career, remember he said, I'm living for these young guys.
Yeah.
He kind of knew his
Yeah,
place
that's right.
every
That's right.
single
He knew he didn't have what he once had.
Yeah.
So he taught them.
But he tried to lead in a different way.
I would like to hit his rant on Mad Dog Russo, though. It was a solid rant, but he was way off on the perfectly tailored suit, polished shoes, and coiffed hair. I mean, he missed on those three
He
things.
missed a little
big
bit.
time.
Yeah.
But it was delivered extremely well.
One of the great personalities.
Yeah.
And just gave thoughtful answers on
What's he going to do now?
I mean, he's got money in the bank, so whatever he wants to do.
My first reaction was, I don't want him retiring on an iPhone in a parking lot.
But isn't that
somewhere.
perfect?
So
But that's
fitting.
perfect.
I know.
Yeah. But that's perfect for him.